Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm kind of late getting this video out because I was in the Link to Global Investor Conference, and they had Greg Kidd in there, and they also had JP Tirrett in there from the CEO of Uphold. Greg Kidd, for those of you that don't know, was one of the first 10 people at Ripple, and he's also a billionaire venture capital investor. He was one of the original guys that was invested in Twitter. In fact, I think Jack Dorsey was living in the house behind Greg Kidd's house for a while. But he weighs in here on the SEC versus Ripple case. Listen to this.
There's going to have to be some resolution at some time as to who gets to be the boss of this change, right? The SEC has thrown its hand out like that it is, the OCC, the state regulators, but something is going to have to give because we're living in such a world of dysfunction. The SEC is either going to reach or overreach. So I am looking for some form of resolution from the Ripple case. I think that the SEC is more on trial than Ripple is. And we're going to need to know whether everything we do in life is a security. And therefore, this belief that everybody's a widow and orphan. This is the whole Link to issue of who's an accredited investor and who's not. Are we going to keep perpetuating the myth that everybody else in the world can come to the party, including rich Americans? But if you're just an everyday American, you can't participate because our government or some part of our government has decided that nobody that isn't above a certain income level can participate in this party that everybody else has been invited to in the world. And so that continual that the emperor has no clothes thesis has got to come to some resolution. It's so patently ridiculous and it makes us sort of the laughingstock of the world. I don't see how we go another year without resolution of who gets to be the boss of change in this whole new emerging world. So buckle up. I have no idea how it's going to come out, but I don't know how to handicap it. But I'm curious as to how it's going to play. Whether the SEC tightens or loosens, we'll see. But it'll determine whether the U.S. perpetually handicaps itself going forward or actually wants to rock and roll.
I love that last quote. That's great. Now, also, they had Joe Indoso, who is the, I can't remember if it's COO or CEO of Link2. And he's talking about the $1,000 to $1,500 XRP airdrop, but he's also talking that they're doing, which is for Link to the accredited investors that are buying Ripple equity or other types of equity on the platform. They're running it. They're doing like a holiday, not a sale, but it's like just a promo thing they're doing that where you, if you invest, I think if you invest in, Uphold is linked through their wallet to Link2, so you can buy the Ripple equity or other equity with your digital assets. And so their promo is basically that if you buy through the link through Uphold with your digital assets, that they'll airdrop you XRP back into your Uphold account. So listen to what he says. He's also talking about how undervalued both the Ripple equity and XRP is because of the SEC lawsuit.
If the SEC matter clears sometime this year, which was, what Brad in his last interview predicted, then we're going to see a reversion to normal in terms of the equity valuation of Ripple. So that's the fundamental investment thesis. And for the same reason, we believe that the XRP cryptocurrency has a similar type of price repression going on with it, right? Because even though it's obviously appreciated, Bill, since December of 2019, the appreciation in XRP is nowhere at the level of, say, Bitcoin or ETH, right? I mean, you look at XRP, it's probably less than half the appreciation of Bitcoin and, about 1/10 the appreciation of ETH in that same period of time. So it's the reason, for example, why we're running this rebate, by the way, and airdropping XRP.
Rebate, what it's
obviously,
called.
we want to make a statement of support for XRP, but also we think it creates fantastic upside for our customers, because if we airdrop, Bitcoin and ETH, those currencies are a lot more fully valued than XRP is today. So yeah, I think the conclusion is we're big supporters and proponents of Ripple and XRP, and you can buy XRP on Uphold, but to buy and invest in equity of Ripple, come to link 2 and use your Uphold wallet to do it, because we'll airdrop you, $1,500 worth of XRP while you do that.
That's pretty darn cool. Okay, moving along. Mr. B XRP had put this up. This is he says someone is not paying attention. This is BitBoy.
Article from John Deaton, who is on the channel, friend of the channel. He says if Ripple wins SEC lawsuit, only Bitcoin and XRP will be safe. And I have to say, I kind of think that's not true. I do think Ethereum is also in that group. I don't think Ethereum will ever be considered a security. I don't think they'll ever go after it. So I would add Ethereum to that list. But outside of that, we know generally things that are decentralized have a better opportunity to not be considered securities. But, we won't necessarily have precedent, because everything in this lawsuit is going to get redacted.
Well, I hope he's right. I don't want Ethereum to be heard either, but I do want there to be a level playing field. But I believe that there is a good chance that they're going. Even Charles Gasparino said there's a chance that they're going to go after Ethereum, and they're waiting for this lawsuit to be done. Now, he says he is insanely bullish on XRP.
There is not a single coin out there, and hear me on this, there's not one coin out there.
I think I've played this one before.
That is more undervalued than XRP is at this time right now, when your time is running out to load up, because it will be mooning very, very, very soon. If Bitcoin starts running, it will start running. It'll get back over that $1.35 hump, heading back towards $2. And then before you know it, it's going to be too late, and you're going to have missed out. So where's my XRP army? Drop it in the chat.
Yeah, I think I played that one the other day, but that one's worth playing a few times. Okay, Ron Hammond, he's the guy that works, I think, for the Blockchain Association, and he's up in D.C. This week in Congress and crypto, this is the week many of us have been waiting for. Tomorrow, 6 crypto executives from some of the largest companies will testify in front of the House Financial Services Committee. Here's a deep dive into what to expect and key members to watch. One important note is that this hearing will more than likely not be the last, similar to the Robinhood hearings. But here's what's interesting about this thread. He goes into everybody that's on the committee, and he tells you kind of their positions. Like, for instance, Patrick McHenry, he's been a leader on the emerging tech, including crypto for years. His latest bill with Representative Tim Ryan seeks to solve the broker definition, So he goes through each member and kind of tells you how they stand. To me, this guy is this is the most anti-crypto person in Congress right here, Brad Sherman. He's the one member who has consistently viewed crypto in a negative light. He's called crypto the preferred use for narco traffickers and tax evaders. He holds the coveted position of chair of the Capital Markets Subcommittee. Okay, well, the fact that he says this is for money launderers, if you have a good understanding of crypto, Bitcoin, and all of them, by now you know that not only are they not good for traffickers and tax evaders, they're more trackable than cash. They're imminently trackable. And all it takes is people who the government already has in place, folks. Okay. David Schwartz has denied. If you remember the other day, ProCoinNews.com, which is an excellent news source, by the way, ProCoinNews.com had put an article out. Can you imagine? They were asking, is Joel Katz, David Schwartz, Satoshi Nakamoto? David Schwartz has replied, I have almost the entire skill set needed to have been Satoshi. It's certainly plausible that I was part of a group, but nevertheless, it's not true. I didn't find out about Bitcoin until 2011. He has denied it, and I think he's denied it before. Now, Charles Gasparino was kind of, I won't say getting into it, but he was, Stefan Huber had a tweet, and Charles Gasparino said, "We have already reported that Jay Clayton gave input on the speech." By the way, that doesn't mean that Hinman didn't express his opinion. The two aren't mutually exclusive, and I agree with what he's saying. But I said, good point. We could clear this all up if we could see who was in the email loop in the Hinman speech. 63 emails went around. And Bill Hinman's public calendar, they will not release. There's been Freedom of Information Act requests on this, I think from John Deaton and others. One other thing, to my knowledge, consensus never shows up in Clayton's calendar. Why not? In other words, to my knowledge, Clayton's calendar does not reflect, except when he had that first meeting with Andreessen Horowitz back in January 2018. That's when they set in motion the Venture Capital Working Group. After that, to my knowledge, Jay Clayton doesn't really have much of anything where he's putting anything associated with Consensus, the Brooklyn Project, or the Venture Capital Working Group on his calendar. And to me, that's a red flag. Okay, Gasparino also puts this in. Okay, this is interesting. In March 2020, the SEC posted the following. The commission has also publicly recognized Ethereum and its native currency, Ether. C. William Hinman, Director, Division, Corporate Finance, Digital Assets, when how he met Gary Plastic. 2, June 14th, 2018, available at SEC. Now, not only will Gensler not comment on Ethereum's future, but an SEC lawyer appears to suggest that there's a rethink on Ethereum as well. So that's what's going on, folks. And then there's this thread from Crypto Law. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but there's been a lot. Charles Gasparino has been commenting a lot today on the whole thing. I can tell Charles Gasparino smells a rat here. It's very obvious. And he has been as neutral as possible on this thing. Now, this is good news, folks. Remember when they were trying to put this woman who literally wrote her dissertation on her love of communism, but she won't show the dissertation to Congress, but wanted to become the head of the OCC? Well, it turns out she has backed out. And the way this New York Times article is written, it's written like all of these powerful interests came in and tried to keep her from being the OCC. Well, it was actually, I think, a bunch of people telling the truth, but she didn't want to show that dissertation, and she's got pro-communist comments that she's made in her history, and all they wanted to do was sit there and put them on the record, and she didn't want any part of that. So that's a win for the United States of America, folks, big time, unless you like communism. Okay, and then there was this from Charles Gasparino. Now, I haven't been following this, and this is not a political thing, folks. I don't want you to, I'm tying this into the Gary Gensler versus Ripple here. He says, breaking, securities lawyers tell Fox Business that Senator Warren is pushing the SEC enforcement case against Trump. The Trump SPAC could lead to a federal judge tossing the case given Warren's ties to Gensler. Well, Warren is also, the reason I wanted to show this, Warren is also involved in this whole discussion on crypto. And actually, if you remember, she wrote the letter to Gary Gensler, which, as I recall, John Deaton pointed to the letter and he said this was a politically motivated thing. She and Gary are working together. And this shows you what's going on here, folks. And where is her influence in the whole Ripple case is my question when I see this. Okay, now this made me laugh out loud. You know, we've been showing you how Gary Gensler had like George Soros on his calendar, and why is he talking to these people like this who are anti-American when he's ignoring 60,000 plus XRP holders? Well, XRP, the Standard Productions, which is parody, is illustrating the absurdity of all of this and making fun of it, which is so funny. This is all made up, but it's still hilarious. He said, well, first let me show you what he said. He said, why has no one talked about this schedule from September 1st? Breakfast with Bill Gates to discuss plans for 2022, phase 2. Meeting with Klaus Schwab, that's the World Economic Forum guy. Then at 10, he's got a phone conference with her, and you know who she is. And then I love then he's got the meeting with George Soros, but this is my favorite. Ritual with staff. In other words, he's inferring, look, now he's got a phone meeting with Leonard Mingus, CEO of Pornhub. Gary Gensler's just doing all kinds of he's having all kinds of evil meetings, isn't he? That is too funny. That's parody. This guy is XRP, the Standard Productions, and he is hilarious. Go give him a follow at XRP_productions. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that XRP, the Standard Productions, has outed Gary Gensler once again. He's meeting with everybody from Pornhub to a call to the great horned one, whatever that means. So